How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the Raw results / highlights and review video. I'll go over the Raw results, some of the highlights, and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So it all kicks off with the Miz Tv and his special guest, John Cena once again. The Miz talks about the AJ scandal and asks John Cena if it's really over. John Cena says yes, and then the Miz says, because I hear you're invited for a New Year's toast or whatever from Dolph Ziggler and AJ, and John Cena says he is going to attend that. And then Team Rhodes scholars interrupt the whole show. They come out. They argue a bit with John Cena and The Miz. And that leads to a match between John Cena and The Miz versus Team Rhodes scholars. The ending of the match came when John Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle on Damien. And then Cody got in the ring, hit the disaster kick on Cena. Miz hits the skull-crushing finale on Cody. Damien Sandow rushes The Miz. Miz ducks. And Cena catches Damien Sandow with the AA, goes for the pinfall, and wins the matchup for his team. And then backstage, you have like a celebration or a party that Vickie is hosting, I guess. And Dolph comes up to her and thanks her for inviting him. Sarcastically, she says, you know, she didn't invite him. And then she says he's going to be in the match tonight against Sheamus, and he looks kind of disappointed in that. CM Punk then comes up to Vickie, and basically, he pretty much gets her to book Ryback versus The Shield in a 3-on-1 handicap match. After she books it, he's like, oh, that's a great idea, and then he kisses Vickie on the cheek, and then Paul Heyman tries to get a kiss in on the cheek too, but Vickie's like, and then Paul Heyman's like, okay, Happy New Year's, and then he just leaves. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that when The Miz hosted The Miz TV in the beginning of the show, he announced that tonight, the champions are actually defending their titles, and they get to choose their challengers. So, this leads me to this next segment, in which Antonio Cesaro challenged Sgt Slaughter for a one-on-one matchup for his United States Championship. So it was Antonio Cesaro versus Sgt Slaughter, and Antonio Cesaro won the matchup with the neutralizer. After the match, Sgt Slaughter started to get up again, so Antonio Cesaro just hit a second neutralizer on him. And then you have a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan and Kane, and they're mad that the Shield is already booked tonight for a match against Ryback. And they were like, you know, they're mad because they wanted to face the Shield, since tonight the champions get to choose who they, you know, defend their titles against. And then they hear some people singing, and then they find out it's 3MB. So Kane's like, you know, should we challenge them? And Daniel Bryan's like, yes, yes, yes. And that's about it. And then you have the party again, and I think you had Kaitlyn bring up Mae Young, introducing her to the Divas. And then Eve comes up to them, and she says, okay, I know who I'm going to challenge tonight. Or, yeah, who I'm going to challenge for the championship, or defend my championship against. And she says it's going to be Mae Young. And then we get Daniel Bryan and King coming out for the matchup against 3MB. Drew and Heath Slater were the ones that were competing in the tag match. The ending comes when Drew was going to go for the future shock on Kane. Kane counters into a chokeslam, tags in Bryan, who hits a diving headbutt, goes for the pinfall victory, and wins the matchup for his team. And then CM Punk comes out with his doctor and Paul Heyman. His doctor shows a normal knee, and then CM Punk's knee to show the injury. And then CM Punk talks about how he's going to beat Ryback on the first episode of Raw in 2013. But then the doctor's like, no, I can't let you compete. You know, in that match, you're not going to be physically able to compete or whatever. And then Vince McMahon comes out, and he says CM Punk will be evaluated by WWE officials and not his own personal doctor. And if they say he can compete, then he's going to compete against Ryback and defend his title, you know, in a TLC match. If not, then Paul Heyman's going to be the one that's going to be facing Ryback in that TLC match. They then have Dolph versus Sheamus. Sheamus was about to hit the bro kick, but then Big E like grabs Sheamus' leg, and Dolph tries to take advantage of that with the zigzag, but Sheamus holds on to the ropes and then throws Dolph Ziggler out of the ring, but Big E catches Dolph, and then Sheamus, I guess, challenges Big E to come inside the ring. Big E was about to go in the ring, but the Shield come from behind and attack Sheamus to take him out with the Triple Powerbomb. And then once they come back from commercial break, you have Kofi Kingston asking about Sheamus and if he's okay. Barrett comes up to him, and basically he he gets Kofi Kingston to accept to challenge him for the IC Championship tonight. And then CM Punk and Paul Heyman are backstage, and Brad Maddox comes up to them and gives them a proposition or whatever, how they can help each other, but Paul Heyman just tells him to get out of the arena and just get out of his life. And then you have like Mae Young, she's holding her stomach and apparently she's got cramps or whatever. And a doctor comes up and they put her on the table, and the guy's like checking up on her, and he's like, this lady can't compete tonight, she's pregnant. And then Mae Young's like, again? So then Eve's in the ring and she's waiting for her opponent Mae Young, but instead Kaitlyn comes out, she starts attacking Eve, and eventually Eve just grabs her championship and leaves. It's not even a match, I don't think the bell rung. Anyways, after that, you have a backstage segment with Ricardo, who's preparing for his matchup against the Big Show, which I forgot to point out, the Big Show chose Ricardo as his opponent. So he's getting ready for that, and then Del Rio comes up to him, and he's like apologizing for treating him badly and stuff like that, and Ricardo says he's going to win the World Heavyweight Championship in honor of Del Rio. And Del Rio says, okay, but if you're going to do it in style, and then he gives him his, his scarf, and he gives him his keys to his car. And that's about it. Then we get the actual matchup. Big Show dominates the match, hits a couple chops on Ricardo. And at some point, Del Rio's he's like distracting Big Show. He's telling Big Show to come outside the ring and fight him instead. And that slight distraction allows Ricardo to take advantage of that. And he actually hits a running enziguri on Big Show, dodges one of his running moves, and works on Big Show's leg. I don't know, he does like some sort of stunner, but on Big Show's leg instead. But anyways, Big Show quickly regains the advantage, and he's about to hit the knockout punch. That's when Del Rio interferes, and he takes down Big Show, kicks him a couple times, and then hits like a super kick while Big Show is like, he was trying to get up. And then Ricardo get out of the ring, and Del Rio winks at Big Show, and that's it for that. Kofi then comes out for his matchup against Wade Barrett. The match ends up being pretty good. Kofi misses a top rope crossbody, which Wade Barrett takes advantage of that by hitting the bull hammer elbow, and he gets the victory and wins the IC Championship. After that, they have Mae Young giving birth finally, and it ends up being Hornswoggle. Anyways, after that, the Shield come out for the matchup against Ryback. Ryback then comes out, and the match really doesn't get underway. They don't ring the bell, they just attack each other, beat each other up. And then Sheamus comes out for the save, and he gets attacked too, and they still have the advantage, taking down Ryback and Sheamus until Randy Orton's music hits. He comes out, he evens out the odds, and Ryback Randy throws, I think, Roman Reigns out of the ring first, and then Ryback military presses, I think it was Seth Rollins out of the ring onto Roman. And then Randy hit the RKO on Dean Ambrose. So they clear out the ring of the Shield. Then hype up the match between Ryback and CM Punk on the first Raw of 2013. And if that doesn't happen, then it's Ryback versus Paul Heyman. And I think if it's Ryback versus Paul Heyman, it's actually just a one-on-one normal match, which makes sense because what would they hang up on top of the TLC, on top of the ladder if the championship isn't on the line? Anyways, after that, it's time for the toast of AJ and Dolph. Dolph says the toast is for the fans or whatever because they voted John Cena as the Superstar of the Year. They then show some highlights of Cena's year where The Rock beat him with the Rock Bottom, and Brock Lesnar hit him with the F5 when he returned, and Big Show knocking out John Cena, and then Johnny Ace pinning him, and what else? Oh yeah, and AJ pushing him off the ladder, I think, and Dolph Ziggler climbing up the ladder and grabbing the briefcase. Dolph then says Cena's now uninvited to the toast, and then tells Big E to stand in front of the ring to prevent John Cena from coming out. But John Cena comes out anyways. He says he's not here to fight. He agrees with Dolph, says he had a bad year, but 2013 is gonna be better. Blah 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 blah. It's a pretty long promo, but it was actually a good promo in my opinion. And he makes fun of Dolph, makes fun of AJ, starts showing some pictures of what their baby would look like, and it's like a mixture of Dolph's face and AJ's face. And then he's like, AJ also has some other babies, and then he shows like babies with Daniel Bryan's face on it, Kane, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, the Khali's old manager, You also had the Bushwhacker, you had Fuji, you had a bunch of, superstars there. And, AJ gets mad and stuff like that. And then Cena's like, he says he's going to enter the Royal Rumble. And he also says he's going to end 2013 with something that actually says we're going to toast with something that Dolph is full of, or Dolph and AJ are full of. And then shit comes out from the ceiling, or, or artificial shit, or not. I don't know. Something that looks like shit, but it's not shit. It falls over Dolph and AJ starts screaming, and John Cena's music hits, and that ends the show. So anyways, that's pretty much it for Raw. Highlights of the night. I'd say Barrett winning the IC Championship, and what else? I guess CM Punk's promo. Whenever CM Punk is on the show, that's a plus in my opinion. So, as far as a rating for tonight's show, it was definitely better than, what was a terrible Raw last week. I'd give this show maybe 7 on 10, 7.5 on 10, so a pretty decent, pretty good rating. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, you can click that like button, I'd really appreciate it. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.